What's up guys, it's Finn. Welcome to Treehouse Off-Road. A couple quick things before I start the video. I recently changed the name of the channel from Treehouse Overland to Treehouse Off-Road. Over the years I found myself getting more away from the overlanding and more towards the hardcore off-roading. I love the idea of overlanding. I love the idea of being self-sufficient out in the middle of nowhere, but I also love trails, and that's kind of what this channel has become anyways. If you look through the videos, you won't find too much overlanding stuff. So my original intention for this channel was to take you guys along on the camping trips with my family, but it's really hard to film and be present for your children and your wife at the same time. A lot of people do it, and a lot of people do it really well, but for me, it's kind of either one or the other. Another quick announcement, my buddy Michael and I just started a business called Treehouse Off-Road LLC. We're located in San Luis Obispo, California on the Central Coast. If you ever need any work done on your Toyota, give us a call. More than happy to help you. No job is too small at this point. I made this video because when I was researching the extended axles for my long travel project, there was not a video on it. There's some videos on doing the extended axles for Tacomas, 4Runners, FJ Cruisers, but the first gen Sequoias and first gen Tundras axles are different. A lot of the Toyotas have the tri-lobe design on the inner joint. Tundras and Sequoias do not. They have the 6 balls, the race, and the cage on the outer and inner joint. So the information out there is very limited. Before attempting to do this myself, I contacted CVJ and they wanted $321 per axle. And that's me providing all the parts. So that led me down the road to doing it myself. The one thing I still can't figure out, removing the axle shaft without cutting it. If anyone knows a good way, please leave it in the comments. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the video. So for this video, the wheel side of the CV, this is the outer joint, and the part that plugs into the diff is the inner joint because it's innermost to the vehicle and outermost to the vehicle. What's up guys? Today we're going to be turning factory first gen Sequoia / Tundra CV axle into a long travel axle with this extended axle shaft by MCM Fab. Total Chaos also makes the extended shafts, but they won't sell them unless you buy their whole kit. MCM will sell them separately at a pretty good price too. So when you order axle shafts from MCM Fab, he also gives you the inner boot and the inner boot clamps. I've gone ahead and labeled inner and the outer side because it's easier for me. Before you start, make sure that you have factory Toyota axles, because you can't transfer aftermarket parts onto this extended axle shaft. It just won't work. A good way to tell is there's usually a part number. So the part number for mine is 43430-0C010. And here comes eBay to the rescue again. You can get a genuine Toyota used CV for $80 shipped, which is a great deal. Let's do it. So we're going to start with the inner by removing the boot. And this one's hiding under grease. Notice how much bigger the new inner boot is. So this is the size of the old inner boot. And we don't have to save these, so you don't have to be careful not to destroy them. Unless for some reason you'd like to save them. Just gonna get in there and clean it. Basically, you're trying to uncover this clip right here. See this one? It kind of floats around in this house. You can move it back and forth, and it's really the only thing holding this on at this point. I like to center it, start out with it in the middle. And just go slow. Push it apart. Comes right off. So let me try to show you that. There's that clip that you're trying to pull apart right there. So we got this off, we're good. Here's the part disassembled and cleaned up to give you a better idea of what's going on. You may have to spread the clip and whack the joint off with a mallet if it's been stuck on there pretty good for a while. Okay, and just set it down on its side for now so the grease doesn't all leak out. So now I'm just going to slide the inner boot off. And we're just going to clean it so we can touch it and move it around without getting grease everywhere. I'm going to try to retain this because these are awesome. As soon as you get something in there and lift up a little bit, you'll hear the pressure just relieve. I've seen a lot of tutorials where the people save this grease and reuse it. And this grease actually looks pretty good, but I have no idea of knowing how old it is. I'm just going to put fresh grease in there to be safe. So screwdriver under, and then you can get it off its little ridge and push it back. Okay, so it was pretty pointless to clean the shaft. This was my second attempt at trying to break the shaft free from that outer joint. Then I welded 3/16" steel to the shaft and tried to pull it out of the outer joint with my 20-ton press. Impossible. It's time to just cut this thing off. I'm taping it up to keep it free from contamination. We don't want any sparks or metal shavings or anything like that getting into the joint. We want to keep it as clean as we can. The next step is to take your snap ring pliers and remove this retaining ring from the stub. Usually comes off there pretty easy, and you're going to want to hold on to this. Next, I'm going to take my small brass punch to maneuver this cage around and remove all the ball bearings. The reason I'm using a brass punch is because it's softer than steel and you don't risk damaging the star or the cage. Last two right there. And then you can spin this all the way around. I'm after a ring that's in here. I need it to come out without breaking. So I'm going to give this side a little tap. And that's the ring I'm after right there. That little ring is what's keeping this whole thing in it when I was slamming it down in the press. Okay, so there it is right there. These are on back order at Toyota and I cannot get them. So I need this one to come off without breaking. And a small flathead. Got it. Can you believe this little thing withstood all that force that I was putting on it? Ridiculous. Get ready for every single tool you own to get greasy. Mechanical dentist. So that's the disassembly. I'm going to clean it up and I'll be back. Okay, so I got it cleaned out as best I can. Parts cleaned out as best I can. The boot. As far as any quick, easy ways to do this, leave them in the comments if you know them. This is the only way I know. I didn't even have any brake clean. I used WD-40. Here's what I'm using. It's supposed to be pretty good. This is my first time using this grease, but so far so good. No problems. It's very tacky. I'm going to coat all these surfaces liberally. Put a big scoop in the bottom. I marked the top of this and the top of this. So you got a bevel on this side and a channel on this side. The side with these lines goes up. The safest bet would just be to pay close attention to the orientation of your racing cage, because I've noticed slight differences over the model years. Put this in through one of the sides, then you're able to turn it. Same thing with this, you put it in sideways. And we're just going to do the reverse of what we did. And I'm just getting all the balls greased up. So I did this one, so I'm going to go for the opposite one. Now I'm just going to try to stick some into the hole and just pat down there with grease. And now we're going to take our extended shaft, clamp it in. Okay, it's time for the outer boot. And it sits right down there. Now it's time for the large C-clip, which wants to sit right in this channel right here. Best way I found is some vice grips to hold it in place. Spread it. And get it seated. Now let's put some grease inside the boot. Next, we're going to do the smaller C-clip by hand. And take this opportunity to put the rest of the grease in the boot. Okay, I'm going to hold this in while I line it up. I think I got it. Grease everywhere. So this blowout happened simply because I put too much grease. Toyota recommends 4 ounces in the outer joint and 4 ounces in the inner joint. I'd probably go with a little bit more in the inner joint because the boot is so much bigger. We're in. I use rubbing alcohol. Nice thin one that fits in there perfectly. I think I got this from CarTech. So next, on the inner joint, we have to cut off this lip right here. This has to go in order to make more room for the axle to flex. So that's what we're going to do next. I used a cutoff wheel to trim this flange off, but I lost the footage. So here's before and after pictures from Total Chaos's long travel axle installation guide. Be sure to shove something in there to prevent metal shavings from getting inside when you cut it. This is what you should be left with after you trim the inner joint. For the inner joint, I'm using a 5% Moly grease called Chevron D-Low. The reason I'm using different grease on the inner and outer joints is just to test out which one I like better. Once I tear these back apart, I'll be able to tell which one I want to use in the future. If you take your time and you're super patient, you can get about 80% of the old grease out of the inner joint. But since you can't disassemble it fully, you'll never be able to get it all out. And that's fine. Once you got your outer boot onto the shaft and rolled over, that thing will just slide right on if you get it lined up right. Once it clicks, you're in business. This is the clip that you have to spread to get the joint off. To get it back on, you do not have to spread it. I thought you did the first few times I did this, and it took me forever. Really, all you gotta do is get the splines clicked in and then push until it clicks. You're good to go. Still have all our sealing surfaces clean and dry. Here it is. One first gen Tundra / Sequoia plus 3.5 chromoly long travel CV.